My friend, if your wife asks you to take out the garbage and you forget, whatever the reason is, it's a problem in every home. The wife keeps on asking the husband to take out the garbage, the husband keeps on forgetting. The question is, why is it such a big deal? Why is it such a big deal? You would think it's a big deal because the house is smelling, because it's uncomfortable. That's not the real reason. That's what the Alter Rebbe, the Baal Tanya, is going to be discussing today. And I want to really discuss this a little more. It could be the opposite way between the husband and the wife. The husband asks the wife, you ask your wife to do something, whether it's you don't want olives in the omelets, or you don't want onions in the salad, or whatever it is. And it's not the end of the world. You're going to live healthy, you're going to have a good life without it. Or you ask a friend of yours, you tell him a private story. If you're telling him something which is so private, it could ruin you financially or your reputation. I can understand if you're upset why he told other people what you told them in confidence. But a lot of times, the things that we get irritated at our friends or our spouses is not something which is really at the end of the world. So the garbage wasn't taken out. No, but it's important. We know it's important. We all hear about it. And this is what the Baal Tanya now is going to make a very interesting foundational perspective. Because it's not about the garbage. It's about something much deeper. In other words, when it comes to a relationship, the question is, do I make a hierarchy, a list of what's more important, what's less important? And if I didn't do something that my spouse or my friend really likes, and asked me multiple times, please, this is so important to me. It's not so important, but it is important to me. One way of looking at it is, you know what? I didn't do the most. I didn't destroy the relationship. I didn't pop the balloon. But another way to look at it is not how valuable or how detrimental is this action or not action. Did I respect my spouse? Did I respect my friend? Did I show love and concern and do my utmost to respect what they want? And then doesn't really matter if it's I didn't pay the mortgage or if I didn't take the garbage out. Because it's not about the garbage. It's about something much deeper. And that's what Alter Rebbe is going to say over here. What he's going to say is that the idea of a bris, we're on page 170, which is Hey Amud Dalid, the fourth Amud on kisisa. Saying is that it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines on the bottom. The line starts Elamim by the dot. This idea of with more energy. Which was mentioned in the Zohar Kodesh, the Tikkun Pagam Bris, to fix the Pagam of the Bris. What's the Pagam of the Bris? The Bris is when you make a covenant between a husband and wife, or if you're a soldier, or you work in Department of Defense. If you're going to give over sensitive information, it doesn't matter if that information is fake. It doesn't matter if it's not so important. There's two ways to look at it. What type of severity of the sensitive information the spy gave over? Or you have a bris. You swore an oath. When you went into an office, you swore an oath. That oath is you have allegiance to the United States of America. You have allegiance to the confidentiality of classified information. And you gave that information to somebody else. When you go into a bris, when you get married to your wife or to your husband, or if you have a friend like David and Yonasan, and you make a covenant, you make a pact together, then it doesn't really matter if you forgot to pay the mortgage or if you didn't take the garbage out. Because not taking out the garbage was poigim in the bris. It destroyed, it ripped apart. So it's not pshat that your wife is upset at you or the husband set out the wife. That action at its core is ripping apart the relationship, because the whole idea of this relationship is a bris. You're getting married, you're having a vow, through health, through sickness. And when I do something, which doesn't matter how vital it is. There's an interesting story with a poor person who was going around collecting whatever he could get. He's a Evyain. There's different words in Lashon HaKodesh that describe a poor person. And the lowest name, there's Ani, there's Rosh. The lowest one is Evyain. Why is it called Evyain? The reason is Shetoiv L'chol Davar. The word Evyain in Lashon HaKodesh, the root of it means that we call it today, he's thirsty. Thirsty means he's desperate for anything. Whatever you'll give him. There's some poor people, you give them $1, they say, no, $1 is not for me, give that to the charity box, give it to the pushka. But this poor man would take anything. And he knocked on a rich man's door, and the rich man then was having a very big party. Chanukas Habayis. He just built his mansion. And he sees the poor person there, and he has mercy on the poor person. So he tells the poor person, you know what? Go to the attic. All my servants are busy serving, and go yourself to the attic. There's a bunch of shmatis. Either you could wear it, or you could sell it, make some money. So this Evian, this desperately poor person climbs up to the attic, and he sees a big pile of rags, which for when a rich person throws out rags, for a regular person, even a poor person, is still brand new. But he has a problem. The problem is he can't carry it. So many rags. He needs a bag. He needs a bundle. He's looking around. It's empty. It's an empty attic. The guy just moved in, and he sees there's a string. There's a string that's connecting hanging from the ceiling to the floor. And he thinks to himself, a string? What's a string? Well, the rich man has millions of dollars. He's a millionaire, multi-billionaire. He has a mansion. He needs a string. He'll care. I should ask him. Who cares? And that's usually what happens in a relationship, any type of relationship. We think about that. We make the mistake to say, it's only a string. It's not so important. Because we don't realize. And he didn't realize it either. He took his pocket knife and he cut off the string. Happened to be, while he was taking off the string, a second later heard a big bang. And he thought there was maybe the band playing, who knows, on the drums. He takes the string and calmly ties the bundle together. And as he's going downstairs, a rich man, followed by his servants, come running upstairs with his face is white, and he's wondering what's going on. And he asked the poor man, what did you do? What did you do? The poor man said, what do you mean? I took the shmatas like you told me. He said, no. Did you cut a string there? I said, sure, it was a string. It's nothing for you. What is a rich man making a big deal about a string? It's only a string. And he said, the rich man said, do you realize what that string was holding up? I paid $300,000 for a chandelier with crystals from the exotic places of the world. And each crystal was handcrafted. And it was hanging by the string. This string was holding it up. It was connected to the attic. And that's what the bris is. The bris is really what connects me to God. That is really, it's not so much, at this point it doesn't really matter so much what the Avera was. Was it an Avera that you're chayiv kares? It's an Avera that you get the death penalty, or it's something which is very minor. The question is, did I keep my word or not keep my word? Because realize what you're doing is, with that action, what I'm doing is, I'm cutting a string. I'm cutting my connection to God. That's the bris. It's more than that I did something, that he's upset. It's not that God's upset. We'll get to that in a moment. But I'm destroying my relationship with God. Because what's the idea of a bris? A bris is the idea of connection. That I'm bounding myself to you. What's a bris? A bris says, I know that in relationships, whether it's a friend with a good friend or with a husband and wife, that there's going to come a time, now I'm in love with you, I like you. I know there's going to come a time that I'm not going to like you so much. I'm going to be angry at you. I'm going to be annoyed by you. So what do? I make a bris. I say, you know what? I know that time is going to pass. Gamza Yavor. And I really like you. So what I'm going to do? I make a bris to connect myself to you, that even through the difficult times and through the storms and vicissitudes of life, I'm going to hold strong to the friendship. Now we have that in holiness, and we have that in the opposite of holiness. Because like we said yesterday, that the life is like a chessboard. It's like a chessboard because you have the black side and the white side. Whatever pieces and whatever space is on the white side, the same thing applies to the black side. So the white side refers to holiness, which is oil, which is light, and the darkness refers to the klippa. So in kedusha, in iskashas nafshi b'shar shivchiyusei. What's that idea in holiness? That's the idea of a chacham in a. I'm connected to God. Every single experience and every single person I interact with, I'm interacting with the godliness in him. I don't use him out. I don't squeeze out his juice and throw him away, because I'm not looking at him just because of what his physicality. I connect. When I eat an orange, I'm connecting to the spirituality of the orange. I make a bracha before I thank God. I uplift the orange and have kavanah. I'm eating this to connect to God. What's the big deal if I eat an orange and I forget about God? I went to synagogue, I prayed, I did everything. Because at that moment, I'm cutting off my connection to God, so to speak. I'm disconnecting. That's the whole idea of a covenant, to be totally connected. The opposite is the other side, the klipa. It's my connection to the pleasures of the physical world and the enjoyments of man. In other words, he's not saying that you shouldn't enjoy life. What the Baal Tanya is saying, what the Alter Rebbe is saying, is that there's different levels of enjoyment. There's a level of enjoyment, let's explain the Chassidus, there's a level of enjoyment of just like an animal. If you ever saw a goat, how they feed the goat, they put the oats there and the goat just sticks his head into it and refreshes it like an animal. Ah! And then there's a more sophisticated type of enjoyment. An enjoyment which, of midas, I feel good when I do you a favor, when I give charity, when I give tzedakah, when I invite a guest, when I give someone a hitch, I feel good about myself. And then there's a higher pleasure, is a pleasure of intellect. I learn a mimer, I read a book, makes me think, I have questions, I debate it, my friend proves me wrong. This is intellectual. When I learn something that I don't get it, and I finally get it, the enjoyment is so enjoyable. The scientists have found out, I don't know if it's neuroscientists, the fMRI, that the enjoyment in your brain when you understand something, the same enjoyment when you solve a mathematical equation, is the same enjoyment that you have when you see a nice painting. And then there's a pleasure of painting, see beautiful paintings, art. And then there's a pleasure. So there's a pleasure of music, listening to a beautiful song. There's more refined. What the Baal Tanya is saying here, Alter Rebbe is saying, is not that you shouldn't enjoy life, but enjoy while you're connected to God. Don't get stuck in the elementary, in the immature, in the babyish. In other words, don't do something that's going to give you a hangover. Don't have fun. Be happy. Enjoy it, that there's no hangover. So how do I fix that? If I was disconnected from God, I didn't take out the garbage, I cut the relationship, the concept of the relationship to a certain extent, the way I solve it is now I can't be a regular Jew that just what we call mitzvah nashim l'mad. I'm just connecting to God on a very basic level, elementary level. Just, a Jew is a Jew. I have to now really connect to the opposite. I have to be totally, fully connected to God in every single aspect of my life. It's not just I'm connected to God when I'm in synagogue, when I'm in shul, when I'm praying. I'm connected to God in every single moment, every single experience. I'm searching the God in it. I'm searching the spirituality. I'm searching my connection to God. Its source and its life, which is drawn from God. Which God is the living and eternal God. Which that is the bris, the relationship. In other words, the problem when I don't take out the garbage, the problem is when I don't respect what my husband tells me or my friend tells me. It's not that I didn't listen to this little thing. Your wife could live without the garbage being taken out, and your friend could live without that little thing that you didn't do for him. The problem is it undermines the whole relationship. It undermines the whole connection is based on a bris. You just now came and took a scissor and cut the bris, and then you're wondering why the relationship is not working. So with God, basically God's energy is infinite, and we're not going to explain Seviv Kol and Malach Kol right now. It's not the topic for today. But in short, Seviv Kol is like radio waves, and Malach Kol is the radio station. So there's a lot of energy. God has unlimited energy. And the way He created the world is in a way that first there's unlimited energy to a certain extent. It's limited comparative to His energy, but it's like radio waves. There's all different types of phone calls, conversations happening in this room right now that I'm not conscious of it because it's not on a wavelength that I could comprehend. And then there's tuning to a certain station. So for God to tune into my station, and I should be tuned in the station to Him, I just it's a good example. So if I turn the radio station a little bit off, the connection won't be so good. It has to be exactly on the dial. let's say email. If you send the email, if you're missing one letter, it's not going to go to the right destination. Who cares? It's one letter. It's a big difference. You know what I mean? Doesn't matter. It's not going to go. It's not going to go through. To enliven the soul of every single living being, and that I should be connected to God, not just when I'm davening, not just when I'm learning. It should be constant. It's not enough that I awaken my love to God when I'm davening, and similarly, and afterwards it leaves, like it says in the pasuk, God is close to whoever calls to Him, but only if you call Him in truth. And this is really a very deep idea in Chassidus. When we say truth, it says tikkun la'ad ksiv mash'enkin va'ad argei lashon sheker chuli. That it's really explained more in Tanya, that the Alter Rebbe says that the Mishnah says that there's something called Naharis HaMachazves. A knot literally means a false river. It's a river that dries up. A river that dries up, even if it dries up once in 7 years, the fact that it dries up once in 7 years, it's not something I can rely on. It's limited. A battery, even if I could recharge it, the fact that the battery goes out eventually, the battery is eventually going to die, it's not unlimited energy. So God wants that I should be connected to Him be'emes, with truth. And there's an interesting story that there was once this rabbi that went to a convention, interfaith convention, and he had his turn to speak, and he's saying whatever he'll say, he'll sound like either like this Christian priest or like the Muslim. The Muslims praying 5 times a day. So what did he say? He said, what's unique about the Jewish religion? What is a Jew? A Jew is not just that I'm connected to God when I pray, when I'm in synagogue, when I'm in shul. A Muslim prays 5 times a day. He washes his hands up to his elbows, and a Jew is a Jew when I'm putting on my shoes. Which shoe to put on first? Which shoelace to tie first? Which to untie? Which to take off? The details. God wants to be involved in my life in the tiny details. And that's where the real bliss, that's where the real connection is. When I realize that when I'm walking down the street, when I'm driving my car, when I'm going to work, it's not a Jew is a Jew in his house, and when I leave my house, I'm in the world, then I'm going to come down, then I can do whatever I want. No, a Jew is someone that even if I'm in the house of Achashverosh, we're coming out to Purim, house of Achashverosh, it says about Esther HaMalka, Hoysa ba'omna ita yizbarich. Even when Esther HaMalka was in Achashverosh's house, she was loyal to Mordechai. She was loyal to her Judaism. And that's the lesson I need to take. The lesson I need to take from today is that not to neglect the little things. To be connected to Hashem, to God, when I'm eating my orange, when I'm tying my shoe, when I'm cutting my nails, which nail to cut, what day of the week I should cut it. Because I can't cut my nails Friday, because if I cut it Friday, then it's going to grow on Shabbos. I have to cut it. I cut it Friday because it takes a few days for it to cut. But I cut it Friday, l'kavet Shabbos. That for Shabbos, I should be groomed for Shabbos. All the details of my life is surrounding and engulfed, connected to God, like a bris, like a covenant. And this is the chelayatir, this is the chachamim of Bereisheh. I'm living with light, because in every experience I have in life, every interaction with another human being, with another person, with another yid, with an object, with a food, with an experience, I'm choosing to focus on the spirituality and the ruchnius, the elikus that's in it, the spirituality and the godly spark, and not get lost in the darkness and the physicality, which is hoivev and ifsid, which is limited, and it won't last forever. Have a wonderful day. It doesn't know where.